Hello, good morning, pleasant good morning. Bringing this to you on Wednesday, the 21st. Thursday, the 21st. Yeah, don't even know what day of the week it is. That's what happened when you're retired. Not bragging, but yeah. So, um, this topic today is going to be uh, how do I escape the matrix, to do what I need to do to escape the matrix. What are the processes I need to put in place in order to set myself up to escape the matrix? So I guess I can just tell you what I did in order to escape. Everyone's process is going to be a little different, but I think number one, you need to commit it in writing what you want to do, right? You need to write it down and put it somewhere where you can see it every day. Put it somewhere where you can see it every day, and so you can remind yourself. And those goals are looking you in the face every day, right? Man, it's a hot day out here, but I think it should be I think it's about 83 or something like that. But it's not as bad as Cambodia humidity. Yeah, man, this neighborhood is really starting to develop nicely. I purchased in this neighborhood when it was kind of like a undesirable area, but you can't be short-sighted. I was able to see like diamonds in the rough, right? You got to be able. You don't look a lot of times if you're buying into stocks and stuff, when everybody else thinks it's hot, you're probably already too late. I know there's a big thing about these AI stocks and stuff like that. It's too late when you hear everybody else talking about it. Now you see stuff like this, when you see the grass and the bushes overgrown, it's usually could be somebody has a foreclosure, or it might be an elderly person, that's having trouble getting people to help them take care of the home. The things you look for, those are like the diamonds in the rough. What you do is, first you can pull up stuff at the county tax assessor's office, right? Look at the deed, see what name's on the deed, and then you look to see if the address on the deed is an address different from the house that you're looking at. That means it's not an owner-occupied house, so you gotta look at stuff like that. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, it means it's not owner-occupied. That means the person is not living in the house, might be living somewhere else. It might be a house they inherited. So what you do is you try and get a number for that person, or send mail to the address. Just I would do a regular handwritten letter, right? Nothing that's nothing that's generated like in a on a just in a print shop that looks generic, You don't want that, because they probably have seen hundreds of those, and they probably just take them and throw them all in the trash, knowing that they're probably from wholesalers that are trying to buy their houses. You would need to, I would just write a personalized letter so it stands out. They're like, okay, this is different. This someone actually took the time to handwrite a letter, so it might be something important. So anyway, I used a similar method to get my little property. I think for me, the quickest way to beat the retirement trap is property investment. And if you have the means to go big, go big. But I recommend a 4-unit is a good thing. It's manageable, right? Duplexes are awesome because you can have the best of both worlds if you have a duplex. Here's another one for sale. I love this neighborhood. So you have the best of both worlds. You can live in one unit and gain the benefits of you can gain tax benefits from the unit that you are renting. It depends on how you set up your business structure, and then for that you need, I'm not an accountant or anything, I'm not giving tax advice or investment advice. You need to hire a CPA. Once you start owning investment properties, you don't want to be going to the H&R Blocks of the world and stuff like that, because your status has changed and you have to spend the extra money for a CPA to make sure you're doing things the right way. So like I said, that works, because 4-unit is ideal, man. If you have the money for a 4-unit, get it. I always say, when you get your first unit, manage it yourself. People will tell you don't do it that way, but I would manage it myself. I would manage it myself for at least 1 year or 2 years. 2 years better. And the reason I tell you that is because you're going to learn trial by fire. You're going to go through the growing pains and, hold on, someone's honking. You're going to go through the growing pains and understand, what to do when a water heater breaks, what to do when you have a sewer line clogged, what to do when you have electrical problems, right? Not only that, you're going to allow yourself to be ripped off by some unscrupulous contractors. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. But you need to do that. You need to go through that trial by fire, because what happens is you start understanding. You're going to learn by, hold on a minute, I have to change hands here. You're going to start learning how to, the prices of stuff, okay? What it costs to change a breaker box, how much to install floors, sorry about that, how much carpet costs to install, the benefits of using floating floors as opposed to carpet, what type of blinds to buy, should you buy blinds. It's a bunch of stuff. It's a lot. And those things you only learn by actually doing it, right? So the second step is after that 2-year period, then you want to go over to a reputable management company. Now, you don't want just a startup management company. You actually want a company that has a lot of doors, a company that has a lot of properties. They understand that a company like that, they're gonna understand your county's laws, and they're gonna go to court for you. Trust me, you never want to go to rent court. It's a very rough endeavor. I'm gonna just leave that like that. That's a nice job you're doing here. Looks like you're working on the yard. Yeah. So, yeah, major management company's gonna do that. Now, you're allowed to tell the management company, you can put a cap on the repairs that they do. Anything, like I used to cap mine at any repair over 300, you need to call me before doing that repair, right? Now, if you hadn't gone through the process of managing it yourself, you don't know what a particular repair should cost. You're just gonna go by what the company's telling you. You're just gonna take their word at face value and say, "Oh, this pipe costs $1,000 to replace this, that. Oh, your dishwasher, you need a new dishwasher. You need this." Because, they're going to be in business to make as much money for themselves as possible, right? So just keep that in mind. So, yeah, I'll be doing a totally separate channel on becoming a landlord. I'll do a totally different separate channel on that. But I got a little sidetracked there. I was talking about things you can do to speed up the process of your exodus. Like I said, rentals are a good way to do that. Some people, day trade. What I did, even when I had the job, my job. Sometimes I worked 2 jobs. I never really, I was not a vacation person, and hey, good morning, sir, how are you? Yes. I was never a big fan of vacations and stuff like that, and holidays, and I was working. I was always the guy, if the boss said, "Oh, we need someone to work on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve," I'm that guy who used to volunteer, right? And while you prepare for all this stuff, sleep is your enemy. Sleep is your enemy. If you're sleeping too much, that means you're losing out on opportunities to make money, to get, slow down the process of you getting out of this rat race. So you have to figure out how many hours of sleep that you really need per day, right? You're gonna have a lot of time to sleep once you get out and you get to your destination. You're gonna have a lot of time to sleep and do the things you want to do, right? But like I said, it takes sacrifice. You gotta sacrifice. There were times I worked 3 jobs and probably slept maybe 5 hours a day. I did that for years, you know. But now I can now I'm able to relax. All right, now I'm able to relax, and I'm able to relax and do my own thing. So yeah, this is a senior home, senior building right here. Yeah, so yeah, you got sleep is the enemy. Sleep is the enemy. Yeah, so what you gotta do, you gotta figure out what you need to do to get money quickly and, you know, save it so you can get out of here. If your job has 401k plans or some type of retirement saving plan that you can use to if they're paying towards your retirement plans, you know, matching your investments, that's awesome, you know. If they tell you can put in 20%, put in more than 20% if you can. Sacrifice and put in the max, right? Put in the maximum amount, and you know. Good morning, more. All right. Put in the maximum amount allowable. Because what happens is, a lot of people, especially if the younger they are, they ignore that stuff. They think, oh, that 401k stuff is for old people. Not realizing you're leaving free money on the table. You know, if your company is offering to you know, match, you know, that means they're giving you money for you to put in your own money. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't put in money, then they don't give you money. So you're losing the opportunity to have that money. So anyway, that's how that works. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a big tax guy or financial guru or nothing like that. I'm just telling you what worked for me, you know. I'm sure I'll have a bunch of people on here that'll say, oh, you know, that's so stupid and that's obvious and this and that, and you know, the ones, I mean, and I you know, I applaud that, and I actually invite that, but because a lot of times some people just like having things to say just to hear themselves talk. Some people just like to you know, sound important and not be important. Yeah, so I get it. yeah, so how this ties into Southeast Asia, like I said, what I'm doing is I'll be pretty much just telling you how I set myself up. I don't want to just start showing you all a bunch of videos about, you know, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos just yet. I have a lot of stuff already filmed, but I want to do a process where I'm telling you what worked for me. I want to do a process. That's the process I want to take. You know, telling you what worked for me, how I did it, and we'll go from there. You know, so yeah. So yeah. Like I said, I have some notes here. Give me a minute. I gotta. Man, I tell you, it's really hot today. I sit on my neighbor's porch here. She and I are really good friends. She's an older lady. But we're really good friends. Oh, that looks like my chair. I think I left her this chair. Yep. So, give me a minute here. Sorry for that. I have better equipment than this phone as well, but remember I told you guys the other day, the first couple videos is gonna be a little bit rough. You know, it's not gonna be scripted and all that stuff. But like I said, most important thing is making sure the information is helpful to you guys. Yeah, so the main thing is you want to, if possible, you have a car, pay your car off, pay your car notes off. You don't really want, if you can buy a car that outright that you're not paying notes on, that's a good thing. So no car notes. Try and pay down credit card debts, because you can't move and be over there with big credit card debts. You know, you definitely you want to try and have at least 2 bank accounts that you want. You don't want too many, because then that's get confusing when you're away. You want a phone. You want that phone. Make sure it's like one of the major carriers, right? Because when you go on your exploratory trip, you're gonna need it, and you don't want to be overseas without a phone. And if you have one of these secondary carriers, like the Boosts of the world, and not Mint, but some of these secondary carriers, you have to ask if they're able to use, if they have roaming overseas to whatever destination you're going, because then you'll get there and your phone won't be working, and that will not be a good thing. So you want to check that. You want to get a good VPN. I'll put a link in the description for the one I use, because if you're over there, you won't even be able to get into your bank account without a good VPN. So yeah. And lastly if you're young and single still, a man or whatever, but actually woman as well. You don't want to stop having, unprotected sex and stuff, because when you have babies over here, you cannot become an expat, because you have to stay and take care of your kids and all that stuff. And so to stop having, if you want this expat lifestyle, nomad lifestyle, whatever it's called, you can't, you kind of, I used to laugh at the fellas. They used to talk about this thing mode. They say they go on monk mode, meaning they don't have sex, they don't have girlfriends and stuff like that, because you have a kid. That means that's 18-20 years before you can get out, for any long period of time, so yeah. So all right, folks, I'm gonna end it here. Sorry for the, I'm not gonna edit this. Like I told you before, when I was on KT's channel, I'm not gonna be doing a ton of editing. Just consider these are just the introductory. These are gonna be the introductory videos for you guys. All right, I'll try and do another one next week. And all right, so you know what they say. Go ahead and share it. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell another friend. And if what I'm telling you doesn't resonate with you, then yeah, don't do none of that. So yeah, man. So I just came back out here to take care of a few administrative things and see my lovely niece graduate college from Smith College up there in Massachusetts. It was actually my first time being to Massachusetts. I've never been up there. I've never been that far up, but it's a nice little town. But I'm very homesick for Asia. When it's gonna become a time that when you're over there, the US or wherever you come from, it's gonna seem like when you come back, when you spend extended time in Asia and you come back to the States, it's like you're visiting the States and your home is Asia. You're gonna feel like you're leaving your home. It's gonna happen. So okay, have a nice day. Thanks for listening.